when we look at the two iPads here, you know, there's a little tiny bump in size. You see them side by side. You know, no big deal in terms of significant size advantage. For me, I always work with the largest iPad just because it's easier for me to draw. Okay, so everything that I do in relationship to iPads is always about art and design. One of the things I think is really significant though is here is, and I don't know how we're going to be able to see this, but it is thinner and it's significantly thinner. And the weight when you hold these in your hand, right? When I hold them in my hand, you can feel the difference. So this is bigger, thinner, and lighter. Now, generally, how much does that really make a difference? Well, I'm going to say it actually does. I'm actually really shocked. This is the M1, and so when I did this and I'm holding this in my hand, I actually don't even want a cover for this. It's so light. It feels so good in my hand. Just to be able to hold it, it feels like a sketchbook. It feels very tangible. Like wow. Like this is pretty cool. This one is not that heavy, but it's just heavy enough where it just doesn't feel quite as comfortable in your hand. And I'm shocked in terms of just the overall, you know, my experience with it at this point. Is this worth it? I was already in the market for an iPad. Okay, so I had the M1. I was ready to get a new one, and then soon as they announced that they have the M4s, I didn't really care about the M4 all that. I mean, it's great and all that, but what got me excited was the new Apple Pencil. Okay, this thing, and the fact that it has the haptic and the barrel rotation. That's what really got me going, got my juices flowing, and said, hey, I want to get one of these ASAP. If you haven't seen it, I have a video where I talk about barrel rotation as it relates to the art pen for Wacom tablets. It's one of my favorite things. If you are someone who paints with these, right? So you can see this, right? If you paint with these kind of brushes or these, right? So you got a flat and you have a round, or actually, excuse me, a filbert. Okay, so when you paint with these kind of brushes, I can rotate them and spin them and get all kinds of different brush strokes. So if you're a painterly digital painter and or a traditional artist who wants to get into digital paint and you want to get that experience, well, the only way I found over the last 20 something years is with this, with barrel rotation. If you're someone who just primarily uses a round and just you kind of, you know, scribble in, then you're going to be fine. And I would not worry about upgrading to the M4 because you don't need it. Now, as far as the haptic, I think this is great. It's fantastic so far. But here's the thing. The reason why I said I'm excited about this is that, yes, I like this. Everything about it's great. But none of the apps have really updated yet. So I use Adobe Fresco. That's not, you know, ready for prime time yet. Neither is Procreate. That's not ready as well. And let's see, Sketchbook Pro doesn't have it. Clip Studio doesn't have it. So at this point, for me, it's sort of, so I'm assuming it's going to work. But who knows? So let's take a look at the haptic treatment here when you squeeze it in the notes. Okay, so when we go ahead and place here, squeeze pops up. Okay, this is fantastic because my assumption is going to be every app is going to allow you to program this to pull up your different controls. Okay, so just by squeezing, it's going to allow you to pull things up and down. So now let's take a look at the barrel rotation. The one brush that allows us to see this right now is if we're using the highlighter, okay? So if we get close enough and engage the pencil when it comes down to the surface, we start to rotate, you can now see that it's giving us the barrel rotation by spinning in our hand. Okay, you can rotate it, pull, create the angle that you want. I like it, and all I keep thinking about is I already have a bunch of brushes that are already set up for this. I'm just waiting for the apps to upload so I can start utilizing this a little bit more. So as far as the rotation, barrel rotation is fantastic. So I did find out there is one app that does support the barrel rotation right now. It's Art Studio Pro. So let me give you an example. Right here, I'm spinning it and it's moving just like I already spin my finger around here. So look. Okay, so you see that? When I click here, I get close. Come back, spin. I already started spinning. Watch my fingers. And now it's moving. Like that right there would drive me nuts. So this right now, for this application, it's an absolute no bueno, not going there. Not yet. Now maybe it'll get better, but that latency, that I'm not feeling that at all. It's not what I'm used to, and especially when I was just looking at it with the notes, it's way more responsive. So we'll see. So when we have the ergo grip on the pen, I wanted to test to see if the haptic squeeze works. So we're back in notes. So you can see I can squeeze and I'm still able to activate this. What do you think? Well, I'll say this. If you have an M1 or older iPad, I would definitely get it. I would upgrade. The biggest question for you will be, should you get a Pro or the Air? If you're not a professional artist, I can't really see paying for a Pro. Now that they have the 13 inches for me, for an Air, I mean, that would be fine. I use it for professional stuff. So for me, I got the Pro and I got the memory and all of that, and it's still overkill. In truth, I could still use my M1 and everything's fine. And I could still use that. But I have to say, since I've used this and I've had it for about a week, and this is as is without having any of the applications and software uploaded yet, I like it. So anyway, once the apps update, I'll start doing full-on demonstrations and reviews on how well it is at that point. But until then, we're still sort of in the dark to see what's going to happen with this. So anyway, deuces, peace out.